Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Whether it's your first time or you're not first time, just welcome to my YouTube channel. I've got Brandon and Meg helping me out today. And today I'm just gonna give you some back bend openers. And what I mean by that is like the things that hold us back in back bends typically tend to be shoulders and pecs, which is technically still shoulders, or hips and quads, which is technically still all hips. But I want you guys to try to decipher what's actually starting to break you before you get there, right? So what's hitting the pump, what's pumping the brakes and not allowing you to go as far as you want to go. To start today, I'm going to need you to use 2 blocks and also a yoga belt or even a tie or a belt at home that you can use. And we'll start, pardon me, in tabletop position, so hands and knees, all fours. And then you're going to take the blocks onto your mat, the medium setting as wide as your shoulders. So you're going to think of this as like a child's pose, but also a down dog pose together. Set your elbows onto the blocks. If you have a really deep back bend already, the blocks can go the tallest setting possible. If you're a little more tighter in the chest and in the pecs, bring your blocks as smallest setting possible. And then drop your head down, keep your butt lifted up. So the tendency is to want to bring the hips back into the heels. I want you to keep that lifted. The lower belly is still lightly engaged, so you're not putting pressure into your low back. Stay here and rest and recover. And allow yourself the body to just catch up. So if you think about it, we tend to do this motion all day long, right? Whether we're typing, or driving, we're closed off. And the goal is to open that back up. So as you inhale, breathe into your upper back, into your heart. And as you exhale, feel the chest widen and your chest drop down just a bit. So again, the inhale allows you to breathe into your upper back. The exhale allows you to widen and kind of soften. And just 2 more rounds like that. Big breath, inhale. You can stay here as long as you'd like at home, by the way. So if you want to put pause on this video at any given time and just move forward when you're ready, by all means, go for it. And then the last one, being mindful that you're on the blocks. Pull your lower belly in and up, and then slightly come off the blocks, set them off to the sides. You're pretty much done with them for the rest of the practice. You'll bring the hands down to the mat and tabletop. You're going to tuck your toes, you're going to send your hips up and back and come into downward facing dog. So we'll move for it right away. Inhale, take your right leg up and back in space for a 3-legged down dog. So open up the right hip, bend at your right knee, drop the foot back like you wanted to kick your glute. Stay here for a second. Take a deep breath in, let this feel good. Exhale to hold it. Now inhale, send the right leg up and back for a 3-legged downward facing dog. Then as you exhale, you're going to bring your right foot forward between your hands and then gently start to lower your left knee down. So before you go any further, can you back your hips up about 1 inch? Then from there, imagine like I just glued the top of your left foot and the left shin down on the earth. So those 2 things are firmly going to connect. From that connection, right hand goes just above the right knee. Left hand goes on top of that. You're slightly going to push and then lift the chest up. So the more you start to connect the left shin and the left foot down to the mat, the deeper the release you're going to get through the left hip flexor itself. Yeah, and the quad as well. So give yourself just a couple moments here to breathe. Chest stays broad, heart is lifted, lower belly is lifting up. Good, last couple rounds. Again, just finding the inhale and the exhale. And I'll remind you guys just one more time, but stay in these postures for as long as your body is telling you it feels okay. So you may want to stay a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less, depending on how warm you are on the way in. You'll take 1 more big breath in, and then as you exhale, hands are going to come down to the earth. You're going to frame your right foot. Now you'll tuck your left toes, you'll lift your left knee up, and then as you exhale, send your right foot back into plank pose for a brief moment. From plank, take a deep breath in, lower the knees down to the mat. Now keeping in tabletop position, so hands and knees, inhale, keep your right knee bent and lift the right heel straight up towards the ceiling as if you wanted to make a footprint up there, right? So the toes are flexing down towards the knee at this point. Lift high enough where you feel your glute and your hamstring turn on, but not too high where you start to crunch into the low back. If you're crunching, pull the lower belly lightly in and up. Stay here, take a deep breath in. Then as you exhale, bring your knee to your nose, your chin to your chest, curl and round your upper back. So again, inhale, we'll lift the right leg up and out. Then as you exhale, curl and round, chin to chest, round the upper back. 2 more just like that. Inhale, take the foot up. Again, high enough you feel the back body turn on. Exhale, tuck, curl, and then round. And then last one, inhale, take it up and out. Exhale, tuck, curl, and then round. You'll pause here for 3. You may need to block in a moment. 2. And then 1. Inhale, send the right leg up and out. Pause for a second. As you're ready, can you send the left hand straight up towards the ceiling? If you can't reach, or rather, send the left hand straight up, and then slowly exhale, reach back with the left hand to clasp the baby toe side of your right foot. If you're having a hard time reaching for the foot, set a block underneath your right hand to lift the chest up. Now the first thing I want you to do is to straighten out the left arm by kicking into the hands. Then bend at your elbow and pull back against that. So that's where you start to broaden through the chest, and then you start to release through the quad and the hip flexor itself. Good. How's that feeling for you guys? Nice. Awesome. Couple rounds here to breathe. Remember, guys, just a small little, like, really tips and tricks to get, things that I like to use in my body, and hopefully they'll feel good for you as well. Good. One more big breath in. We're going to exhale, undo, and release that. Block off to the side if you're using it. We'll take an inhale to tuck the toes, and then as we exhale, we'll draw the hips up and back in space, downward facing dog. So same on the left. Inhale, left leg's going to go up and back for a three-legged downward facing dog. Bend at the knee, drop the foot back like you wanted to kick your glute. Stack the hip, look underneath the left armpit, push with the left hand. Yeah, and then slowly, inhale, re-extend the left leg up and back. Exhale, bring the left foot forward between the hands. Then very gently lower the right knee down. You're going to uncurl the right toes. Now first, back the hips up an inch. And then this time, it's like I glued the top of your right foot and the right shin down. So having to push that stuff down is going to allow the lift of the hips. And when you're ready, left hand comes on top of the left knee. Right hand goes on top of that. Push down, lift the chest, rise up. Good. Now again, notice if your low back is starting to kind of crunch a bit, right? Can you send your lower belly in and up? Shoulder blades come lightly down the back, but not all the way down. Keep them neutral. So again, sensation on the right quad and the right hip flexor by pushing right knee, or rather right shin and right foot into the mat like the right knee wanted to lift. Good. Stay here a couple breaths. Nice, guys. We'll take one more big breath in, and then as you exhale, undo all of that. Bring the hands down and frame your left foot. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee up. Inhale. Exhale, step your left foot back into plank. You'll take a deep breath, inhale in plank, and then exhale, lower your knees down to the earth. So on the left side, to strengthen the back line, because we have to get the hamstrings and the glute to turn on in order to rise in our back bends. Inhale, we'll send the left leg straight up with a bent knee, so you're making a footprint again on the ceiling, right? Like you're trying to push against my hand. Yeah, that's it. Lower belly pulls in and up. Stay here. Exhale, knee to nose, curl and round, chin to chest. And then again, inhale, you're going to reach up, so push against my hand. Push, push, push. Yeah, exhale, curl and round, chin to chest. Two more. Inhale, you're going to bring it up. Exhale, curl and round, push. And then inhale, take it up. Exhale, big curl and round. Hug and hold for just a moment here. Yeah, now here we go again. Inhale, the left leg is going to come up. You're going to pause. Now send your right hand straight up towards the ceiling for an open twist. And then slowly take a big backstroke, right, with your right hand. Clasp the baby toe side of your foot. Again, a block is always accessible there if you need it. Straighten out the arm first by kicking into the hand. And then bend at the elbow, pull back against that. So now the left quad and the hip flexor begins to release. I'll mention it one more time, guys, but stay as long as you need, please. You can always hit pause and then plug in whenever you're ready to go. Don't ever feel like you're rushed or because the teacher's kind of moving on that you have to be at that same pace. If your body's telling you to slow down, then by all means, please slow down. Last big breath in. And then we'll undo all of that, hand and knee down to the earth. When you're ready, yogis, you're going to lower down to either your left or your right hip, and then you're going to swing your legs out long in front of you so that you find a comfortable seat. And then right away, just go ahead and meet me down on your back, bent knees, bottom of the feet down on the mats. Good. Now as you start to bend into the knees, the bottom of the feet down on the mats, keep your feet about hip width distance apart. And as you start to keep your feet about hip width distance apart, I want you to karate chop the mat with the arms so you're pushing down. Now, as you start to push down with the arms, bend at the elbows so the fingertips are going up towards the ceiling. And as you start to make these little robot arms, do the robot. Okay, robot dance party over. Come back to neutral. First thing I want you to do is to activate the hamstrings first. So before we start to get into upper back work, let's just turn on the legs. Push the heels down and the elbows down, and then slide your shoulders underneath. And as the shoulders come underneath together, you'll notice that your heart begins to lift. Now, turn the hamstrings on to lift the glutes. Turn the glutes on to lightly lift the low back, lift the mid back, and then your heart pushes towards the chin. You'll stay here for at least 5 breaths. If that's too much for you, you can always back off. And again, what I want you to feel is the back of the body is starting to turn on in order for this to happen. Back of the neck stays long, so again, the chest going towards the chin and not the other way around. We'll take one more inhale, and then as you exhale, we'll lower the upper back, the mid back, and then the lower back. Now, it's really tempting to want to bring the knees into the chest. Instead of doing that, bring your knees to fall together. Let your feet go nice and wide. Left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. While they're resting and while you're resting, I'll give you an option. If you decide you want to go into full wheel today, you'll need to strengthen the upper back. So with your yoga belts, at some point in your practice, you can take a little chair pose with your feet about hip width distance, and you're gonna hold onto the belt so it's about 3 to 4 inches away. I'll give them a moment to rest so they can catch up. You guys doing okay? All right, great. Moving on. You're gonna hold onto your yoga belt about 3 to 4 inches, and as you hold on to that yoga belt, you're gonna pretend like you're doing everything you can to rip it in half. Then as you try to rip it in half, the yoga belt goes straight up. You'll take a deep breath in. I normally do about 3 rounds of these. You're gonna try to rip that yoga belt in half and take it behind your head. Make sure that the chin doesn't drop in, but rather the chin stays up, so the lower belly begins to lift. And then again, 3 total is normally my sweet spot. Make sure that when you're coming down with the yoga strap, that you're pretending like someone is stopping you from bringing the elbows down. So we'll do one more together. Send the yoga belt straight up, bend into your knees, again, only about 3 inches away from the hands. Take a deep breath in. Then as you exhale, a big pull. So for 10, good, you're gonna pull for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, big pull. You can release that. And again, integrate that in your practice whenever you feel like you're gonna go into full wheel. To break down full wheel, if you guys are ready, we'll take the hands to the outer edges of the ears. Now the feet are gonna go back about hip width distance apart. As you start to set it up, wrist creases are gonna turn outwards, so the fingertips are facing your body. Same action is gonna happen, but now that we've warmed up the upper back, right, or the shoulders, it's gonna help us push up just a little bit higher. We'll take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you're gonna push through the heels to activate the legs. You're gonna use the legs to activate the glutes, low back, mid back. Now big push of the hands in the upper back, full wheel or Urdhva Dhanurasana push. This is where you get to check in. Is it your shoulders that aren't letting you go out? Maybe you stop and you do some of that shoulder opening. Good. Is it the low back that's starting to crunch? That means maybe we need to turn on a little more back into the body. And again, if your hips are starting to lock up on you, maybe we do a little more opening of the hips. Again, ideally at least 5 full cycles of breath. Then last big breath in, we'll lower upper back, mid back, lower back, and then again, knees together, feet wide, left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly, rest and recover. We never want to end practice in a back bend, so we'll do a gentle twist on the way out. Take your arms out like goalposts or like the letter T. Bring your feet together, your knees together, and then you'll take a deep breath inhale from here, yogis. As you exhale, the knees are going to drop over to the left. You're going to look over your right shoulder. Yeah, sometimes I like to send my hand on top of the knee, so left hand can go on top of the right knee. If you choose here, it's really up to you. It's preference. And that Brandon clearly does not like that. And then when you're ready, knees come back to center. And then knees will go to the right. You gaze over to the left. Right hand goes on top of the left knee. And then, yeah, Brandon, take your gaze over to the left. There you go, that's it. When you're ready, yogis, come back to center. And then bring the knees into the chest, but it's a light little hug. So not a major squeeze, just a very, very tiny little hug. When you're ready, guys, Shavasana. And as you rest in Shavasana, you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Until the next time, namaste, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, subscribe, comment, like, and share, and tell all your friends so that I can continue making more yoga videos for you guys. Until next time, you rock.